Today, we're diving into a big idea in advertising, why being remembered is actually way more powerful than being liked. Let's get right into it.
When you think about the last ad you saw, what was it trying to do? Probably sell you on something, right? It's faster, it's better, it's cheaper. That's the classic playbook, trying to convince you.
But here's the thing. While they're so busy trying to win that argument, most brands are failing at something so much more basic, so much more important.
So let me ask you, and be honest, think about today. How many ads or brands have you seen? A ton, right? But how many can you actually name off the top of your head right now? Maybe a couple? Maybe just one? Because if you can't even remember they exist, then absolutely nothing else matters.
And that's really the heart of what we're talking about today. If you're not remembered, you're not getting chosen, period. Before anyone can like you or buy from you, they first have to remember you. It's like the ticket you need just to get into the game.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with what brand awareness actually is, then why it's so critical. We'll look at how it's built, a case study on how to do it right, why it's so tricky, and then we'll wrap up with your key takeaways.
All right, first up, what even is brand awareness? It's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but a lot of people get it wrong.
This quote from the legends Al Ries and Jack Trout just nails it. Positioning isn't about your product, it's about what you do to someone's mind. It's all about owning a little piece of mental real estate. It's a fight for memory, plain and simple.
So when we talk about awareness advertising, its job is super clear. Get into someone's memory and just stay there. The goal isn't to sell them something today, nope. It's just to be known, to exist in their head when they're ready to buy.
And we can actually measure this mental real estate in two ways. You've got recall and recognition. Recall is like the Holy Grail. That's when someone asks, hey, name a brand of soda, and you just say, Coke, without any help. That's unaided awareness. Then there's recognition, or aided awareness. That's when you see the red and white logo and you immediately know, oh, that's Coke. You need both for sure.
Okay, so we get what it is, but why does it matter so much? Well, think of it as the only ticket that gets you into the game.
The whole consumer journey can be boiled down to 3 simple steps. Think, feel, and do. First, you think about your options. Then you kind of develop feelings about them. And then you do something. You buy. Awareness is all about that very first stage. Think.
And this funnel just shows it perfectly. Look, out of all the brands in the entire world, we only even think about the handful we're aware of. That's your awareness set. If a brand isn't in that tiny circle at the top, its chances of being bought are literally zero. It's out of the race before it even begins.
And that's the scary part, right? You could have the most amazing product on the planet, but if people don't know about it, it might as well not exist. Being invisible, that's the silent killer for so many great brands.
So, how do you fight that invisibility? How do you build that space in someone's head? Well, it really comes down to training the brain.
And look, you don't build a memory overnight. It takes time and it needs a few key things. You got to have repetition. You have to be salient, stand out from all the noise. You need really simple associations that the brain can just grab onto. And finally, you need consistent cues, the same colors, the same logo, the same jingle, every single time, just drilling it in.
And the whole point of doing all this is to create this automatic link in someone's brain. So when they feel a need like, man, I'm thirsty, they think of the category, soda, and bam, your brand just pops into their head. That's the shortcut you're aiming for. All right, enough theory. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. I've got a case study of a brand that absolutely nails this. Okay, check out this Grubhub ad. At first glance, it seems almost too simple, right? But trust me, this thing is a work of art when it comes to building awareness. Let's break down why it's so good. The number one reason this ad works is speed. Seriously, it gets the brand, Grubhub, and the category, food, into your brain in under 2 seconds. In a world where everyone's scrolling and distracted, that's like a superpower. So how does it pull that off so fast? Well, look at it. First, that bright orange color, you see it, you think Grubhub. It's an instant cue. Second, that giant picture of a burger just screams food. You get it without reading a single word. Third, it's super clean, lots of empty space, it's easy on the eyes, easy for a busy brain to take in. And last, that little rhyme, Grub Hub. It's simple, it's kind of catchy, it sticks with you. See? This ad isn't trying to explain anything. It's not giving you a list of features or telling you why it's better than the competition. It doesn't have time for that.
Its only job is to imprint itself on your brain. It's not teaching, it's stamping.
Okay, so if this is so effective, why isn't everyone doing it? Well, it's because this approach forces a trade-off that makes a lot of companies really uncomfortable.
And that's where you see all that classic mistakes, right? You see that hilarious ad and a week later, you can't for the life of you remember what company it was for. Or they just cram way too much information in. Or, and this is a big one, they keep changing their look every year, so there's no consistency. They never build those assets like Grubhub's Orange.
But the real reason it's so tough, it's a long-term game. Awareness campaigns don't make sales shoot up tomorrow. It's really hard to measure the ROI precisely. And because it takes time and patience, a lot of companies just give up on it, usually right before it was about to work.
All right, let's wrap this up. I want you to lock in these key takeaways.
Okay, here's what you need to remember. First, awareness is where all marketing begins. Second, simple and distinctive always wins against more information. Third and fourth are a pair. Repetition builds memory, and consistency builds your brand. Fifth, and this is a big one, if you're not remembered, you're not chosen. And finally, the most important idea of all, don't even try to be convincing if people don't remember you exist in the first place.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Which brands have really earned a spot in your mind? And now that you know how it works, can you figure out how they did it? And more importantly, why they're still there?